All right, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is King of Cards, tarot readings, with a general collective message. Now, you all know I look for the good. I'm always trying to find the good. I'm always trying to make things better. That's why you come here. I'm not expecting to offset the ocean. How could I? I'm really. I'm trying to. It's hard to identify what I'm trying to do. I'm not really trying to make waves or ride waves. Yeah, I don't know how to say what I'm doing. But basically, you either will or you won't tap into any card reader. And I just see a lot of readers flip, 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 flip. 10 cards on the table. Flip, 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 flip. We got 20 cards on the table? Like, yeah, I get it. Follow the narrative. And if you were to put all my readings into a composite, then you could say I'm doing the same thing. But really, the reason I use the spread that I use, and this is explained in the induction, but I said there that I would explain it occasionally throughout the readings as a way of referring back to the induction for those of you who this is your first reading. Most of my views have, or most of my videos have 0 views as of this recording, which I love because I used to go to the YouTube search page, go to the search parameters and search by views and then search by lowest views. And I would try to find the most recent stuff and the most obscure pages. And I found some really wonderful, crazy people who were documenting breakdowns. And, you know, I aspire to that to a certain degree in all the art I do. Not that I'm an artist or anything. King of Cards Tarot readings. What up, my beautiful collective? I just observe what I see and I try to do what suits me based on the tools available. I try to see the work other people are doing not as a blueprint, but as an exploration of the tools that they're using. And once I understand the tools, I try to use those tools toward my own agenda. And look, I didn't tell everyone that I caused it just a couple people. And it doesn't matter if I did, you know? Like, it's just funny stuff. So, okay. So, part of the reason why I give you the still image of the reading after I ramble a little bit and give you my flash reading is to welcome you into the space of the reading as we go into the reading. And the space before the reading is the title card because I'm just vibing with you for that period. It's to bring you in to the space of the spread. And the spread is meant to be read like a book or like a comic strip, like a 3 panel comic strip with that fourth panel like like a step back. Like if you didn't have the resolution of 3 panels and you only had one panel, what what would it be? And so that's what the deck top card it represents. Take a step back. You can't see the resolution of the three-way mirroring. All you can see is like a blurry, distant, whatever, you know? But then we start out with the closer range main issue double mirror. We're looking at it from two sides, but we're looking at the same thing in the middle, which is the main issue. And I use Aleister Crowley's Thoth deck on purpose. You know, I love all decks. I think they're all beautiful. You know, it's fine. Divination is divination, but tarot reading and divination are not mutually exclusive. And I think that's the difference I'm trying to bring. I focus on a very specific aspect of a low resolution reading of the cards. I know there are a lot of deeper associated meanings to each of the cards, but the more different meanings are brought together, the cloudier the image gets. And so I like to take a real a low level or a high level, I don't know, depends on where you place your value. So low level from the standpoint of I'm not trying to read all the different or decide between all the different combined interpretations of the imagery of the card. But I'm trying to look at like the simple like not even pictogram level, like shorter than that. But this is where the reading, obviously, each time I look at the card, all those other things come forward. So I'm trying to let them come forward without specifically identifying them or holding them in my associated meaning bank. Whatever. Y'all are getting bored of me as I ramble, but one or two of you aren't. And again, like I said, if you identify with readers, Why are you identified with them? Because they use stuff, you know, or because of who they are. And that's the point. Yeah, to I'm not trying to come and be perfect. I'm not trying to compete against what other people do. I've been reading tarot for a while, and I always want more opportunities to read. And with personal readings, it's tough because people get frustrated. They want more cards. And that's why I'm glad that the 10 card, 20 card, 30 card readers are out there. That's what some people want. Um, and sometimes that's what I want. I love those readers. I'm not trying to shit on them. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that my general collective messages come through a 3 card spread with a fourth clarifying card. And that's something I want to introduce new people to. Again, I'm just developing this channel right now. Nobody's watching these videos. The last video got 2 views at the time of this recording. But I'm trying to get some content up, and like I've said before, these readings are timeless. So once you get plugged in, go back, check out what's there, see the evolution of how we got here, you know? And like, look, if you don't know how many tarot cards there are, I'll break it down for you. There's 5 suits, okay? You have the 22 major arcana, which represent spirit as the suit, as the element. Spirit is the element of the major arcana. So if a card just has a name, and maybe I should start identifying the number of the major arcana, because so far I haven't. I've just called their name. So maybe I'll start giving their number for newbies. But yeah, if it just has a name and a number and there's not a number and an object, then it's spirit energy. But then we have the 4 traditional elemental suits, which are, let's see if I can go in order here. So we start with Earth, which is pentacles, okay? Um, and then we have Air, which is swords. And then we have Water, which is cups. And then we have Fire, which is wands. Some people might reverse that order. I didn't, but I'll let you know. So each of the elemental suits has an ace, which is the 1 or the solitary number, and that climbs up to 10, which is the fullness of the element. So that's 10 times 4, which is 40 cards, right? And then each of those elements has another 4 court cards. And those court cards are the prince. Let me start. The princess, who is the earthy energy of the suit. The prince, who is the airy aspect of the suit. the queen, who is the watery aspect of the suit, and the knight, who is the fiery aspect of the suit. So that's another 16, which makes for 56 elemental cards, plus the 22 major arcana makes for 78 total cards in the deck. That's all. That's all there is. And it's a lot. It's enough, But if you're doing a 20 card spread, that's a quarter of the deck. Do you see what I'm saying? So the more cards you place on the table, the easier it is to guess what card will come up next. And if you've placed 77 of the cards in the deck, you know which card is coming down last. And okay, trust me, it's worth doing a 78 card spread, but the point in a 78 card spread is that you're looking at what order things drop, because the highest probability is your first drop, and the probability drops with each card you place. And so that's the way to look at it, is that imagine you're building a 78 letter word. So every time you lay out the full deck, there's a certain number of 78 letter words. And, you know, I like math, but I'm not. There's a name for how you figure out how many possibilities. So, like, if you have one possible caricature, you have one possible name. If you have two possible characters, you have two possible names because you can't repeat. So if you have A, B, you have either A, B, or B, A. You don't have A, A, or B, B. So those are the two different ways you can use a character set. There's repeated characters, in which case you have each placement, each, like the first letter and the last letter, all have the full character set as a possibility. But with a non repeating set or a finite set like this, and I'm sorry this is a long reading, I haven't even gotten to the general collective, so I might break this off and call this like Induction Two, but probably not. I'm probably just going to leave this in because I don't know, maybe I will break it off. Either way, I'm going to finish this because I'm in it. But the point is, with a finite non-repeating character set, each each place in the name, you lose, or word, I guess we're calling it, you lose a potential. So your first character has 78 possibilities. Your second has only 77. Your third has 76. So it's going to decrease until you get down to the last placement, which has a one possible character. And yeah, it's just going to decrease from the number of characters in the set down to one. Yeah, so all that to say, this reading is funny to me. Yeah, I'm just gonna let it run together. That was 19 minutes. Maybe I'll make a note. Nah, I should break it into two. I'm not going to. I'm not going to. This is going to be hid. This Induction 2 is hidden within. I'll put it in the title card. It'll say General Collective Reading Induction 2. Induction Level 2. Or something like that. Um, so, yeah. Thanks for sticking with me if you did. If not, spirit. So, my flash reading of this spread is if you have it in you, do it. But it's not about doing it, it's not about the action. It's more like if you feel that way, like if that's how you feel, yeah, if that's how you feel, like that's on you. That's all yours. And that's not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just like, that's you. And if someone else picks that up from you, if everybody picks that up from you, like they're choosing to pick that up from you. They've chosen already that you are whatever relationship to them you are. Okay, so I'm going to jump into the reading. For our main issue, we have the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords is the watery part of air energy. So she's going to be the emotion of thought. And for me, this is like, you know how thoughts have this hidden emotional quality to them? Some of us who process our emotions through thought really understand this because we'll explain a thought to you, like that whole name character thing I just did. It's a thought. It's very thoughty. It's super thought based. So many of you didn't even want to keep up with me while I was running through that. And that's part of why I'm leaving these connected, okay? That induction level 2 and today's reading for the general collective. My beautiful collective. That was all thought stuff I was giving you. And yet, for me, there's this deep emotional aspect to it. That was something very meaningful I was trying to explain to you. And for those of you who pick up on it, especially for those of you who come back to this induction level 2 after either and hopefully both, you've been like, oh, I just watched general reading 10/26/2021 and I found out there was an induction to the page. I didn't even know that. You go and you watch the induction, and then you come back here, and then you watch induction level 2 again because you want to string those thoughts together. You're going to be like, oh, like that whole 78 character set, non repeating, full string name thing he was trying to communicate. It's what this whole reading is about. It's why the 3 card spread is so powerful and why it's doing more than divination. But whatever. Again, it doesn't matter. There's more to it than that. But this whole idea that there are these hidden emotional aspects to our thoughts that we can choose to acknowledge, but or we can choose to feel, and that's this thing that's coming up in this main issue, is that our thoughts give us the option to think or feel. And so when I tell you about my thoughts, I'm sharing emotion with you. But when I tell you about my emotions, the emotions don't come out, thoughts come out. But when I share my emotion directly, I have to paint it on some other words, some other thoughts. So if I'm speaking angrily about a conflict or an action I have a problem with, or a situation I want to change, I'm talking about those things, those objects, as thoughts, but you feel the emotion coming out of it. So you might describe the encounter later in very emotional terms and maybe not be so focused on the content of what I was saying. However, if I talk to you about emotions, yeah, you start to get all these thoughts, all these other analyses, and it's just so funny to me. The flip flop. So that's what's going on in this. Is this flip flop between thinking about things and feeling things directly. And the emphasis here is definitely on the thinking side of it. But I'm seeing the flip flop, the way one brings the other, and yeah, they're constantly inverting. I'm doing this thing with my hand, like they're flipping back and forth. It's there's not a stable state to it. Whether you look at the surface or the volume, they keep interchanging. When you, yeah, it doesn't stay still. So, for the right hand opposal, which is our positive influence, we have the Eight of Wands in reverse. And this is called swiftness. Now, for me, this card is about connections and like how close things can be while being separate. Um, and like that place where things stop being separate and become part of a network or a grid or a single body. Um, and to me, that it's pointing to like not the separation, but the hesitance to come together. There's like a pressure tension. It's like magnetism, or like if you've ever felt where air is coming through a wall, You can feel it pushing out. It's like, but like felt, like the feeling of that is what I'm getting here. There's something being forced in a certain channel or a certain direction, and that forced movement is keeping things moving in a certain direction. It's like nothing can go against that flow. Not nothing, but in order to go against the flow, you have to be like a spaceship needle, like cutting through that pressure field. That's beautiful. So, on the left hand side, for our antithetical influence, we have Six of Discs, which is called Success. And this card for me is about like an appropriate configuration that it's like workstations. Like, I find that I get into my best creative modes when I have multiple workstations set up and I can move between those workstations and I can switch materials from one station to the next if I need to or want to. And having those multiple working spaces in a close enough proximity allows me to go into production mode and, yeah, stay focused while also able to transition my focus and not get stagnant, because sometimes one piece will hit a balance or a weight point, and if you can't move forward, that's where distraction comes in. But if you can set it aside and continue to flow and then jump back to the earlier piece, there's so much continuance and deep diving that can happen that just, yeah, can't happen when you're only, well, not that it can't happen, but yeah, this configuration of working objects, working spaces, and the way they can combine and amplify each other's efforts. So, it's an interesting balance. Basically, our swiftness in reverse, as the helping aspect, is saying that to a degree, keeping these things apart, keeping them, yeah, from coming together, allows this space to stay open. However, that past configuration of things working so well actually is part of what allowed for this thought and emotion to get so enmeshed. And fuck. So basically, what I'm starting to see is there's an element of social cohesion that has kept thought and emotion folded together and kept them unexplorable. So even in the process of self searching and trying to understand thought and emotion, I see that you've been doing a lot of work in trying to understand yourself. But when you communicate it to other people, it confuses the whole situation because if you're using a framework to understand yourself, it's so limiting. It forces you to identify with roles that don't actually express in your reality. But there are things within those roles that overlap with or can be grafted, not even graft, but like grafted onto your reality. Like, are you the same person you were before you heard of the model? Or has the model and the role now entered into you the same way when you watch a movie? It like touches on things in you, or you read a book. Some of you are book readers. You read a book and it like amplifies parts of yourself. So there's things that were there, but now that they've been amplified, like who are you, right? Are you who you were? And how much of who you are is just stuff that's been like amplified by social dynamics and mechanics. It's kind of what I'm seeing here. So this 6 of discs success is really about you. For some of you, this is someone in your life, but this is about like you flourishing within a social situation, but not like coming to know yourself because there's just so much external stuff being put on you, and you keep identifying based on external models. So whenever you bring real stuff out, it's getting categorized and classified like, oh, that's so Aquarius. And I'm not saying that isn't so Aquarius because here I am being so Aquarius. But still, and yet, imagine if we had more range, more resolution to look at ourselves with and to share ourselves with others with. See what I'm saying? Some of you are picking it up. Maybe on your second watch, maybe on your third, after Induction Part 3 gets posted sometime in the future, and you come back and you watch through Induction 2, and then you go back and watch the first Induction, and then maybe you come back here again, and then you're going through the reading, and you're like, oh, like if we had more rich names to call our emotions instead of, look, even that emotion wheel feels pretty limiting compared to what I feel like I feel in myself. So, all right, if you can keep these things apart, swiftness, if you can just keep them from being like, that's anger, that's frustration, that's joy, right? Instead of just defining these things, making them one thing now, the connection between what you're fucking feeling and what emotions are called by people, if you can keep some separation there, there's just such a depth to what you are and who you can be. And I see now this Queen of Swords is showing me the complexity of the truly felt compared to the described emotional state. Okay, this is going long, so I'm going to finish it up. But our deck top card is the Universe, 21, the 22nd card in the Major Arcana, full manifestation of spirit. And that's what this is saying. Full manifestation of spirit. What are you going to call that? It's all the things, all the stuff from the finest grain to the grossest. Like, this is the grossest. And so we just call it the universe. And so this is showing you, like, yeah, you can collapse everything into a single, it's all that, right? What's the point in that? What's the point of collapsing it into a single thing? That's so dumb. It's a practice. If that's what you're on, okay, coalesce. Like, I'll take that. I'll take you under my wing. I'll put you in my belly, right? You can be me. We can be one thing. Or better yet, you know, bliss. Come on. Come join my squad. Let me tell you what to do, you know? Come on. Don't you get it? King of Cards. Tarot readings. What do y'all want, my beautiful collective? What are you looking for? You're looking for a way to describe yourself that feels authentic, right? Is that not what you're looking for right now? Come on, we've been struggling for these past couple readings to get to this point. That's why the induction part 2 came out. I didn't know that was going to happen until I started recording. So, really feel what you're feeling. Really feel it. And really think what you're thinking. Think it. And then feel what you're thinking. Feel it. And think about what you're feeling. Really think about it. You got to do all four of those things. And don't be so quick to share all that rich information through the simple words of social agreement. Thank you. So, I'm going to wrap that up. And yeah, big ups to anybody who has made it through this message. And if you've made it through this message multiple times, you're up there. All right? Like, whether I can get along with you or not isn't the point. Like, I salute you. For real. And I hope I can be one of the people who can go back and listen to this multiple times. We'll see. I don't know. But yeah, I've said it before. I'll say it again. Please like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you'll be alerted when new messages drop. This has been King of Cards Tarot Readings. Thank you to my beautiful collective. Stay safe, and until next time, I'll see you real soon.